What's up everyone, BG Wizard back for another video. Today we're taking a look at all the best melee DPS tier list. So we're going to rank every single melee class for rated battlegrounds specifically for patch 10.0.7. So new patch everybody, we're going to rank all the best melee DPS and put them in order from left to right and every single tier. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with the Prot Paladin and Brewmaster. These two I think are the bottom of the barrel. I don't see these too often. If one was going to move up or be viable, it'd probably be the Brewmaster. But for this video, we're just going to leave it here. These are the two bottom DPS for melee. And next, let's move on to the B tier. So Blood DK and Prot Warrior. Blood DK brings that death grip that just never ends, just constantly gripping like your healer out of the fight or whoever they have their eyes on. They can pull them out and out and out of the fight. So Blood Death Knight brings that to the table. Also, I think both these classes could FC. I've seen a Prot Warrior FC as well, and it tends to do pretty well. So these two classes are where I would consider the bottom of the viable. Of course, B tier I always put as you can take these but not recommended. And then A and S tier obviously are much better. So this is where I'm going to leave the B tier at with the Blood DK and the Prot Warrior. And let's move into the B tier. So B tier, we got Feral Druid, Unholy DK, Windwalker, Outlaw Rogue, Fury Warrior, and Enhanced Shaman. Now, of course, these are pretty good specs, but not the best. So if any three were going to move up, I think it's the first three. Outlaw Rogue is, of course, a rogue, so it has Sap Blind. And Outlaw just seems to be the least played, so that's why I have it here. It seems like the other two rogue specs are very, very good, so I'm going to leave them as the S tier, but Outlaw could move up depending on how it performs. Next we have DK, of course. Unholy brings the death grip, and if you have like a melee cleave like Ret Warrior and DK, if you have a DK, then maybe the Unholy could move up because it really helps the Ret Pally and the Warrior to connect on their kill target by having that Death Knight. So Death Knight also brings Chains of Ice, and Chains of Ice is also very valuable. So Death Knight could fill that objective role as Unholy, and it could move up. And next we have Feral Druid. Feral Druids seem to do pretty good damage, and they also fill that objective role, almost like a Rogue and a Demon Hunter combined. They can float out because they're fast. They also have that stealth capability, and they could probably sit a base. So Feral Druid could move up as well, but we're going to leave the A tier at this. Next we have Windwalker, Fury, and Enhance. These just seem to be a little bit less played and a little bit subpar compared to some of the other specs on this list. So that leaves us with the S tier. Let's move up to the S tier. The number one spec right now, I think, for melee DPS has to be Ret Paladin. The changes are, I mean, they're amazing for Rets, but for the rest of us, maybe not so much. Ret Paladins are pumping right now. It seems like the rework did quite a bit for their class. So Ret Pally has to be the number one best melee DPS in the game right now for rated battlegrounds. I think I queued one yesterday and the Rets had about 32 million damage and everybody else had about 15 million. So Ret Paladin is doing very well. Next I have Demon Hunter and Guardian Druid. So this is where maybe you could move Feral up as well, right? If you have one player that plays Havoc and Vengeance, or one player that plays Feral and Guardian, that's extremely high value because these are the two best flag carriers. So basically, if you want the meta composition, you want the best chance at winning, the Guardian Druid and the Vengeance Demon Hunter are the best flag carriers in the game right now. So having somebody that could play both specs is very good. And the reason I put Havoc here is it may not be the best DPS in the game, but it's pretty good DPS, and also it has Spectral Sight and the speed to float out. So if your base sitter's getting hit, the Demon Hunter can just get out of the fight as fast than anybody else, and it can go help defend your base. It also has Spectral Sight, so it can get out the enemy rogue that might be hitting your base. It can Spectral Sight that rogue out of stealth and catch them, or it could, it can get enemy Guardian Druid who's flag carrying. It can get that out of stealth as well. So Havoc brings that Spectral Sight, and that speed and also pretty good damage. And then if they play Vengeance as well, it's a double whammy. So I got to put it at S tier for that reason. Next we have Guardian Druid, best base hitter in the game and also viable flag carrier. So we're going to put Guardian there. And once again, if you have a Druid that plays, a DPS and Guardian spec, that can be S tier value for sure. Next, we have the rogues. So obviously every team usually wants a rogue, sub, assassination. I'm not sure which is better right now. I've seen both played at pretty high levels. So it seems like, you always want your rogue. It's one of the best base setters in the game. Also, you have that sap blind or sap cap potential. And also they help land kills with that kidney shot, smoke bomb, that kind of thing. Very good objective player. You always want a rogue on your team for that reason. S tier. And rounding out the melee DPS tier list, we have Arms Warrior and Frost DK. Once again, I'll start with the DK here. DK brings Chains of Ice. It brings that Death Grip. Very valuable to a team. And for that reason, I think Frost is the better spec right now. That's what I'm hearing anyways. Maybe it can change. Let me know in the comments below. This is all speculation after all. And then Arms Warrior. Arms Warrior seems to be doing pretty good DPS. Sharpened Blade, very good in RBGs. Arms seems to be the more played warrior spec in the game right now. If you are wondering about Hunters, we're going to do Hunters on the next tier list, Ranged DPS. So be sure to tune in for that one. Hunters, I didn't forget about you. I'm just going to put you on the Ranged DPS tier list. This is the Melee tier list. Patch 10.0.7, best Melee DPS tier list, ranking all classes. Okay, thanks for watching the video, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye.